Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 5 on OData servers. In this session, I'm going to explain about CURD operations in OData. So how to use a create, update, read we have seen already, delete operations in OData servers. Let's go to the next slide and I will explain very detailed things about the CURD operations from the OData level. So here we have some business scenarios. These are the two things which we have seen in previous videos. How to read a database, data based on the key fields. Okay, so in that case we have a DBZ extension method. We have a get entity method. So inside this method, we have to redefine it. Inside this method, we have to write our own code based on the key field values. We have to fetch the information through WAPI or direct select from a database and send back to UI application or gateway. So for this, from the gateway perspective, we are using get method, or we can say get option or get method. And option number two, more data based on with or without filter option, meaning I'm not sending any key field value, so I want more data from a database table. So for that, in DPC, we're going to use get entity set, and the same HTTP method is going to call get. So then how system determines if, because we are going to use only get method, and how is determined whether we had to go for get entity or entity set. If we pass the value for the key fields, yes, it will by default go to get entity, and we are not passing any values for the key fields of the particular entity, then it will go and call this get entity set method. So there's a differentiate to call whether entity or entity set. And the third one, I want to create a data, maybe a sales order, a purchase order. Based on the user input, we have to create documents in the backend system. So for that, we have a method called create entity. So these are some generic names. Based on your project, it will, the method names could be different, but these are the unique names we can say. Okay, so here it is create entity, and to trigger this method from gateway, we have an option called post. Okay, HTTP method option is post. Once you use post and the URI from the gateway, it will automatically go and call the create entity method. Okay, and the same way I have to update the business data based on the user input. Then for that, in DPC we have a method called update entity. So how this method is triggered from gateway, if we use HTTP option called put. So if you use put method, put option, then automatically it will go and call the update entity method. And finally, if you want to do any delete operation, you have a method called delete entity and the HTTP option called delete. Okay, so the URI, there is no difference in the URI, just the same URI we are going to use from the gateway system or data level. Then it will going to determine, based on this option, it will determine which method to be called. Okay, so these two are we have seen already, and today we're going to see this 1 and 2 as well, very simple one, and I'm going to show you the 3, 4, 5 option. And for this operations, I am going to use a business process called bank create, because in my rental I have some issues to create a sales order or purchase order with the WAPI, because of some extension sometimes it's getting into dump. So I don't want to take any risk, so that's why I'm going to use a business scenario to create a bank information through FA01 transaction. So we have a BAPI for that. So BAPI bank create, BAPI bank change, so get bank details. So those BAPIs are available. So I'm going to use the same business scenario. So it doesn't make any big difference, because we are here. I'm going to explain about the OData level, and whatever you have to write in the above level, so it's very simple. So create a sales order or purchase order, you've already gone through those things, so we don't want to spend much time on that particular part in this session. So my experience, OData is a design. So how to design for this particular business scenario? So to read, create, update, and delete business data. And in this session, we are going to see about different HTTP method, like we have used only get, and today we're going to see post, put, and delete, and how to test these methods. So little different to pass the input for these methods, post, put, and delete. It's not like get. So get normally we use only entity set or entity set with key field values. But for these, we have a little different input method we're going to use. So for that, we are going to use the option called use request option. Okay, and finally, exception handling. It's simple. I'm passing an information method. Sorry, I'm passing some data to the create method. It's because of some data issue, the BAPI returns the exception. So bank is not created or material is does not exist. So those kind of exceptions. So how I have to pass that exception back to the UI level. So here UI is nothing but the gateway system. So till gateway, how we can pass the exception based on the user, sorry, based on the backend system informations. Okay, so this is about this particular session. So let's get into the system. So this is my system. Let me go to SEGW and I'm going to create a project ZGI underscore CURD operations package local object. Let's create it. Okay. So data is simple. Again, I don't want to make more complicated to include structure and all. So I'm going to create very simple structure. It has only four fields. So bank, country, bank name. If you want to understand the business scenario, just run through FI01. So you know how to create a bank. So entity type is, I can say FI01 bank. Okay, so I want bank create, yes. Next, I want the entity set. I created the bank. Let me create the properties. Expand it. Property. So I want country is a key field and it doesn't have more than two. So I'll go with string. So it needs only two fields and label as country. Okay. Let me run through the FI01 and I will show you the structure of the particular table. So that will be very easy to write a code. Otherwise, we have to write, if you maintain the same name in your above field and your database field, then it's very easy to transfer the data. So that's why. Now I'm going to show you the transaction FI01. So this is a way how to create and in bank country bank key. No, hope it's not available. Just press enter. Just create a bank. So new bank. Okay, so region depends on the country. It will take all the information. So here I just go with some DD. Just save. These are optional. Okay, so this information is saved in a table. So table is nothing but BNKA is the base master table to maintain the bank. So hope most of you people are aware of it. So BNKA F7. Okay. So here it's going to be it created all your entries created, changed, though so many information available in this table. Okay. And just now I have created not sure how many records available for this country. Oh, okay, it's more. Okay, created on. It's created only one. This is the one which I created it. So now I'm going to do the same from gateway service based on the input. I'm going to create some entries and change the same entries in this particular table. So here I'm going to take some technical names. So these are fields I'm going to use: bank, country, bank key, name of the bank, and region. So I'm going to maintain the same name in my gateway service for the above field banks. Next is key. These fields are UI. I already explained, and string. This is actually 10, and this is key, and field is BANKL. bank name. Bank name is not a key field. Oh, sorry, by mistake. Okay, thank God it's not gone. By mistake, I press F3. Bank name probably 40. Let's check. Bank name is 60. Okay, BANK 60. Bank name BANK. And finally, region. String character 3. 3. Save it. Okay. So a simple structure. This is my design. So I'm going to use the same design for read, write, update, and delete. So let me activate, or I can say generate the project. So then it automatically create the MPC and DPC classes. I'll go with local object. So all my runtime things will be created. Okay. Yes, all green. And if you go here, runtime, and this is your DPC class, DPC extension. So go to DPC extension. I'm going to redefine one by one, and I'll show you the test as well, so that'll be easy for you. And a few things I will show you in a debugging level for your understanding. So these are the methods. It's created, create, delete, get entity set, and update. So these two we have already used it. So we'll complete this get entity and entity set. Then we'll come to the other one. So redefine, get entity, redefine, get entity set, redefine. So here what I'm going to do was get entity based on the input. So these we have already seen. I'm going to use the IT key tab, the read table, and I'm going to read all the informations from this particular internal table. And now we have two key fields, country and key. So I'm going to use that one. Okay. So signature, I close it. So here what I'm going to use a select statement. Read table, select statement to read the information directly from the table instead of BAPI. So read table IT, what is the name? Yeah, IT key field, key tab into data, WA key tab. So probably you might know this because we have used already in the previous videos. And the name of the field is country. Okay, so if says was equal to 0, I'm going to use a local variable is equal to the value is available in the field called value. Let's do this for key as well. So this one I have already declared. Okay, now I don't want the signature, just close it. So key, and here I'm going to use another local variable for this. Okay, let me do the declaration data. So it's an inline declaration of country, and this is data LV key. Okay, so now I'm going to use a select statement, select, let me check the name. I want all the four, bankers, banker, bank key. Okay, Bankers, I want bank L and then bank name region from BNKA table into, so take the same signature. So here if you go into the year underscore entity, the above field names are same, so that's why I maintain the same over here. Otherwise you have to either use corresponding, or we need to use assignment operator to move the information from one work area to ER underscore entity work area. But here it's not required, so I can use the same here, where bank is equal to LV country and bank key is equal to LV underscore key. So as we are using the select with the inline declarations, so we have to use the escape character to differentiate which fields are for application layer and which fields are for database layer. So that's why we are using this escape character over here. Save it and try to activate it. So once it is done, I'm going to run this from the OData service level. Let's see what is that. Open SQL statement. Okay. Okay, I missed it here as well. But, okay. Because I didn't use select single, I need only one record because ER entity is nothing but a work area. So it needs only one record. It can hold only one record. So either I need to use n select or I need to use select single. What is the other one? Implementation founder get in. Okay, I have this one. Okay, so let me activate this. I need to activate the entity set as well. So I didn't have any code, just like that, it's fine. Okay, now go to the other session and create your service, then execute your service. Let me activate my service. Here add service and local CGI. This is the one. Add my selector service, local object, and click next. Then it will automatically add it, and here metadata was loaded successfully. That is very important. So now go back and find it and execute in your gateway system. So CGI star, and here this is my service. Go here. And today we're going to see about these options on HTTP method: get, post, put, and delete. Okay, these four we are going to see along with the get information. So get is very simple. So to get the informations, so here this is my entity set, and I'm going now the entity to be called. So I need to pass the values for these two fields. So equal to I display table. I need some data from this table for the country DE. If let me take this value 1004, done, and execute it. I don't have a breakpoint, so it'll work. It won't stop over there, so I just take the information and display the information. So a country, key, bank name, probably region is not maintained over there, so that's why there is no region. Okay, so this is for entity, and same is for entity set. If it is entity set, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to get the information from entity set method. So for a quick reference, I'm going to add the same kind of code over here. So get entity, and I'm going to copy this for the read table. I'm going to copy this. Okay, Anyway, I don't want to copy because I'm not having any key field values here. So go to entity set and just a select statement. You can have a BAPI as well. Depends on your requirement. Into table, go to the signature. So the field name is it's taking time to load. Let me go ahead. Okay, signature is ET entity set. So here it's ET entity set. Okay, so no work conditions. I go with 100 records. Okay, so this is my entity set. So save it, activate it. Now if I call from gateway system without any field value, key field values, then automatically it comes and pick the data from entity set. Let me delete this and execute. So this is a way it differentiate whether I had to call entity or entity set. Oh, sorry. Execute over here. Okay, oh sorry, it's not required. Okay, I'll do this way. Go to entity set, select the entity and click execute. So it will take almost 100 bank informations. So here bank country, region, bank name and everything. Okay. So this is for get. Depends on your input. System determines which method to be called, get entity or get entity set. Now I'm going to use post for create. So let me go to my class and have this. Right click, redefine it. Okay. So I'm going to create. I don't want this. I'm going to use a BAPI to call to create the bank information. Let's go to pattern. So here BAPI bank create. Okay. So these are the parameters. So I need few parameters to be enabled. I want bank country, bank key, and I need a bank address. And now I'm going to pass bank country, bank key, and bank address. And I'm going to receive the return as well. So I want to know here it is. I'm going to reuse this one, return, and let me enable this as well. So this is just for your practice, so you can use the standard naming conventions, so like WA underscore or local variable underscore. It depends on your everyday work. So now the question is how to read the data from the gateway. So that is little different in the create entity because we are not going to use the key fields over here. It can be anything, right? So not the key tab I'm going to use. I'm not going to use the filter option. So here I'm going to use the option called IO data provider. So this is one of the object which is created already for this class. Okay, and for this class there is an option called read entity data. So there is a method. Through that method I'm going to read the entity data based on your user input. Okay, so if you see, you're not able to say filter option as well, either key or you can go with the IO underscore data underscore provider. So now I'm going to use this particular object to read the information, to read the input data. So now what I'm going to do is, let me go here. Let's delete few data, few lines. It's easy to just see the entire code. So here, let's go here. Okay, let me enable the signature just for your initial stage. Let me enable the signature, then go to pattern. So here I'm going to use a web pattern. And what is the object? Object is IO data provider, and the class name is, this is the class name, right, slash IWBEP slash if MGW entry provider. So just I have used already. This is the one, and it has a method called read entry data. So this is a method to read the input information for the create entity method from your gateway system. So just click next. So it's simple. It gives only one information. It's like a work area. It returns like a work area. So I need the informations for this. So let me declare this. So this is a very simple. So this is the input data I'm going to receive here. I want to declare it. So input data type. So what is the input data of type? This is the AR entity. So this is nothing but your data for your create entity method, right? So whatever method is created, create entity, get entity set, your structure is same. It's coming from the SEGW on the create and the entity type method, right? So here we have four informations, four fields: country, key, bank name, and region. So that is already available in this particular structure. TS is nothing but structure. So I'm going to use it. So here ZCL underscore ZJI underscore CURD underscore MPC and that particular structure TSFI01 bank. So this will automatically create once you create the entity type in your project. Okay, so that's it. Now everything comes in my input data. Control S. If you want, you just double click, you can able to see what is there in the structure. Go to the structure, nothing much. Whatever you created, everything is same here. Okay, and now I'm going to use the same. So now data is ready. I need to pass the informations to some variable, some work area to make sure my BAPI is working perfectly. So bank country is nothing but input data, and it's bank L. Hopefully it's banker. Let me confirm it. Okay, bank S is the bank country. So it's bank S. And bank key is nothing but input data bank L, and this is actually a work area. Bank address is not a field or variable, it's a work area. It has few structures or field inside it. So bank address, and I have a bank name. So bank name is stored in input data. The field name is bank A, and then bank address region. It's available in the field called PROZ. That's it. So this is again our area. Okay. So I'm not concentrating much on ABAP stuff. If it is an internal table, you have to use append. If it is a work area or a field, this is the way you have to pass it. So these are the fields which I am passing to the call function. Almost is ready. So let me take out few informations. So, and finally I need a return parameter. Okay, so if the return is also a work area level, so it doesn't have an internal table, you don't want to use loop or read. Let me go with if return type is equal to error, I need to raise an exception. So and okay, if it is no error, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass anyway. ER entity is the output parameter for this entire method. So AR entity is nothing but input data. I mean, it's nothing but I'm passing the same input data. It might, if UI receives the exactly what they are sending, it's nothing but okay, it's created successfully. Otherwise, anyway, I'm going to send the error message. So how to send an error message? So here you can see the return type. It's nothing but BAPI return type only. So BAPI RET2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise an exception. So for the exception, oh sorry. For the exception, just see the signature. Every method has its own exception. Okay, it's a basic level. So I'm going to use the same exception. Whatever BAPI giving the exception message, I want to send the same to the user level. So there is an exception called CXMGWBUI's exception. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is, okay, let me open this. So this is the exception. In this exception, it has some attributes as well. Okay, so these are some attributes like standard attributes: resource not found, business error, or resource duplicate, business error unlimited. So in this I'm going to use a very generic message like business error type I'm talking about. So the type is business error, and the message I'm going to send whatever BAPI is coming. For example, here I plan to trigger an exception is the country whatever I'm sending is not defined. It's master data missing or master data error. So I'm going to send that particular message as a message. Country is not defined in the system. Okay, so meaning I want to send a wrong country information. So the type is business error and the message is BAPI's message. So now I'm going to use this exception over here. Okay, so this is the exception which I'm going to trigger or raise technically. So here I'm going to raise a exception. So exception is nothing but an exception class. So let me copy this and go to pattern, go to web patterns, next, and here raise exception. So this is the class which I have used already, and click next. So I have raised my exception with I need some parameters to be enabled. So all are optional. So let me enable few things, only two. One is what is a text ID. Generally we use what is a text ID, what reason you are raising the exception, and the message. So text ID I have mentioned already. Every exception class we have the method. Sorry, we have different attributes, standard attributes. So we can use that as a text ID over here. So minus business error. So it's a business error, and I'm going to pass the message which is coming from BAPI as it is. So this is the exception which I'm going to pass a message to the UI. So here it is gateway. That's it. Save it, act toward it. Let's execute or trigger from gateway system. Let me have a breakpoint so you can see how the input data is working over here. Let me have this external breakpoint. Now I need to go to my SAP Gateway client. So here the interesting thing is we can't use simply like entity set as an input. Okay, so for post methods or put method or delete method, we need a different kind of input. Okay, so you don't want to manually type it. For that, what you can do is step one for testing your put or post or delete method, you need two steps. The first step, read any one of data from your entity method, not entity set, just get entity method. Just read the data, read the input. So what will get in from entity, always you will get only one input data, means one record, right? So first read it. Once you get the input, convert that particular output as an input for your put or post or delete methods. Okay, I will tell you first. So first I'm going to do get entity method. So for that I need to use country. Make sure it gives the value country equal to in comma key equal to, okay, I need to get it, display table execute in f8. So okay, let me take this 1 2 1 2 1 2. So go here, pass the value and close it. Okay, so it needs to return the value and the status code should be 200, otherwise you can't use that as an input. So let me execute it. So this is step one. Yes, I have only one record, State Bank, and there is a region as well. So now what I'm going to do is let me do the entity set. Step 2, on this entity to be called with the help of HTTP method post. Okay, so now I'm going to use this output of my entity get entity method is going to use as an input for my post method. So I'm going to use the option called use as request. So what happens? This is converted in as an input parameter over here. If I'm going to send, I'm not going to change anything now. I'm going to send the same version as input for my post method. Okay, I have breakpoint already enabled. Now I'm going to click execute. Then it should stop in the create entity method. So here it is. So this is my create entity method, and now I have a code to read the data. Let me just execute one by one. Input data. So input data would be, excuse me, whatever the input we are using. So that is read and keep in the particular field. It's handy, and these are some same informations. So informations are passed in the local variable and the work area, and I'm going to execute it. So probably this might get an error because this bank key is already exists. These are the key fields in the backend. So if I execute, I have something on the return. Just go to the return parameter. It has an error. So return type is error. It says bank IN1212 already exists. So this is an exception. I have already raised an exception with the help of exception type. I'm going to pass this message to the input gateway informations or UI application. So F5, F6 and press F8 and you'll get 400 error, and here you mentioned very clearly, so this is the error. So message is like bank IN whatever you're passing, it's already exist. Okay, so this is a way you can pass the or you can raise the exception. Now I'm going to change the value. So 1212, okay, let me go with 1214. So sorry, 1412. Okay, then let me execute it again. So this time, hopefully it should go. So F6, F6 country, and what is the bank key is updated one. Yes, it's 141212. So let's see what is in the return. Return, yeah, 0. So it has. So execute it, full execution. So you will get, so once again, 201 status code. Yes, it's created. So once it's created, I'm passing the same information. So whatever is I'm getting input from the UI, I'm passing the same back to the UI. So they come to know, okay, we are not getting anything. Status code is 201. Hopefully, whatever request we sent, it's got created in the backend system. Okay, so now you can just check the same in the table level. Let me go to the table, go back, and here it's 14121212 F8. So for this, we don't want to commit, means for particular BAPI I'm saying, not for entire, for not the OData service. For this BAPI bank create, the commit is already available. That's why I'm not using the BAPI transaction commit. So in some scenarios, some function modules, that is explicitly required. So you have to do it. So that is as usual, a BAP perspective. Clear? So this is a way we have to use the create entity method. The same thing I'm going to show you the change means update entity as well as delete as well. Okay. So hopefully those are very simple. So now you should know only what is the HTTP for which method. I already explained. Get is for entity and entity set. Post is for your create entity, and patch is for update entity. Delete is for delete entity. Okay. So let me go to my class. Let me redefine this. Redefine entity. Okay. So I don't want to waste much time because it's very simple for you to just write a app code over here. So I'm going to have very few informations. I want this. Just copy this and put it in the update entity method. So here, okay. So let's change this just for the differentiate update data. So here, one second. Yeah, sorry. Signature. So here entity signature is same. So I'm using the same information over here. That's fine. Okay. So So now exception is also same. There is a difference in the BAPI. So here it's update data. Update data. Okay, everywhere I have to change. Okay. Update. And here also update. So here there is a BAPI called BAPI bank change. So I'm going to use that BAPI to change the information. So here I can change the key fields, probably the bank name and region. I have only 4, right? So I can use only those from here, region and bank name. So here bank BAPI change. Got it. So bank country, bank key, bank address. Okay, I need one more is bank address X is required. Let me copy this and put it here. Okay, so bank country and everything is same. Okay, bank country, bank key. So it's a little different in the variable bank country and bank key. So I think the rest all same. And here I need to pass the update flag, bank address X, X hyphen. I'm going to update the bank name is equal to X and bank region. Okay, so almost ready. And the same way the exception as well. So if you want, you can do the same kind of exceptions over here. Okay. Import return parameter and go to create. Yes. The same concept I'm going to use in the update as well. So if you're all fine, I'm send them back the same data. So signature, it's ER entity, IO data product, all same, nothing big. So hopefully I won't get any error message. Let me activate it. Activate everything, yes, including update entity as well. No, I got an error. So bank country is unknown. Okay. Bank country, bank key. This time. Okay. Got it. Now I'm going to execute it using the option called patch. Sorry, put. Let me activate for the safer side. Activate it. So let's go to the gateway. Gateway system. Okay, let me. So here also testing, we have to do 2 steps. First one is entity. So let me go to here get, and this is a different. Oh, so this is already closed. 1 second, give me a second. Let me open a new one. So I think it's got closed. So here ZGI star CURD SAP gateway, and I have to read it. Okay. So here get entity set. set. So here I need to pass event country is equal to value in and key equal to minus 14121212 is a recently created one. Okay, and execute it. It's done. Now, if you see the create entity, I'm not passing anything, right? Just like entity set and bank set. But for an update, you have to pass the values for the key fields. So what I had to do was keep this particular URI as it is along with the key field values. Then click put. Okay, so I'm going to update it and use as request. Step 2. Okay, so here I'm going to change the values. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to give raise an exception, just give 11, country is 11 and click execute, no breakpoints. So it shows country 11 is not defined. That is the issue. So what I'm going to do is let me give IN and maybe change the state bank as just a Bank of India. Okay, so let me create it, then click execute. It goes and executed successfully. Status code is 204 and response body normally it won't give anything as a back, but if it is a green and status code is 204, it shows yes it's created. How it's not created? If there is an exception, for example the country code, it gives a error message. So UI has two options. If the status code is green and 204, yes, it's updated successfully. If it is an error, obviously OData or a backend system give a proper message to the UI application. Okay, now you can go to the table and see what is the name of the bank. So let me refresh. Yeah, it's changed from State Bank of India to Bank of India. So this is a way you can do it for delete. Hopefully I don't want to run again because I didn't find any BAPI for delete a bank for especially for FI01 transaction. So that's why I don't want to waste your time. So if you want to delete, same way, right click, redefine it. Okay, let me have a breakpoint. I just show you how it's generated, but I'm not going to write a code inside it. Activate it and have a session external breakpoint. Now I'm going to call this using delete HTTP method. For that also you need to write it because you need which is the input field, right? So go to execute. Yes, I'm trying to delete this input. So let me go to delete with the same passing the information to the key field and use as request, use this as an input and execute it. Okay, no additional, but it's 204, so it's executed successfully. Let me close some sessions and activate it and execute again. Execute. So it's called the method delete entity. Okay, so I hope you have an idea how the get, post, put and delete HTTP methods are triggering and how the relevant methods are triggering for those options. Okay, so relevant DPC extension method. So get entity set, create entity, update entity, delete entity. Hope this will be useful for you, and probably we'll have more videos on in the following sessions. Okay, thank you so much for your time. See you and bye bye.